Welcome to the Happy, Healthy Life Podcast with your hosts, Rob and Randy, who reveal the truth, the lies, and confusion about health so that you are no longer the victim to mainstream medical dogma and you are the hero to your own happy, healthy story.
Hello and welcome back to the Happy Healthy Life Podcast with your hosts, Rob and
Randy.
And we
are
the Happy Healthy Guys.
Yes, we are the Happy Healthy Guys. We were not always the Happy Healthy Guys.
We were not.
Some people think we've always been the Happy Healthy Guys, but the truth is we were the sick, depressed, almost dead, what would you say, overweight, metabolically crippled guys.
We were those guys.
We're not those guys anymore, but you're best equipped to help the person that used to be, so welcome.
Yeah, so what if we told you that the secret to losing fat, having endless energy, living a longer, healthier life, and even having a great sex life with a strong, healthy libido isn't just about counting calories and exercising more.
This is making more sense now why you're playing around with the word tantalizing.
There you go. We're going to call the podcast today Sex, Drugs, and Metabolism.
Yep, that would have probably got more viewership, but we will keep it PG today, so don't worry.
Yeah, absolutely. So let's talk about this. So we're going to talk all things metabolism, but we are going to answer those questions to be able to help you be able to really have a happier, healthier life, and even increase that the libido, the sex drive. And I think we need to really answer this question because I think a lot of people are confused by their answers to the questions, and we get all kinds of answers to this question. But if you were to ask yourself, what is health? What would your definition of health be?
Yeah, that's a really powerful question. And before, I guess you want me to answer that, and we can go back.
Not your definition, but what is the answer that we get most frequently?
Well, and that's the point. This is a very important question because your health, there isn't anything more important than your health. Nothing is more important, and it's the number one thing. You'll spend everything you got to get it back if you ever lose it. Trust me, I know. But I think the definition that a lot of people adopt, I made this mistake in years past, most people have, is you believe health is defined by how you feel. And if you feel good, you must be healthy. And if you feel bad, then you must be unhealthy. And now the journey begins. And usually, if that's your definition, it can set you on a course for making really, really bad health decisions.
Yeah, because so most people will equate health to, exactly that, how they feel. And it's interesting too, because I was just at a funeral this last weekend, and you're talking, the gal that had passed away was 101, lived a long, great life. And it's interesting because you start talking to people there, and it's weird about funerals, how it gets everybody now starting to think about their own mortality.
It's powerful.
People always start talking about their health. And you're having a conversation with somebody, they're like, you know what, thank goodness I am, I'm healthy. I feel great. I don't have any issues. And, because of what it is that we do, we automatically spot it and we see it. And one of those things that we always will see is you can see like what somebody weighs, for example. And you can see like, if their belly is hanging over their pants, and it's that same person that says, you know what, I feel great. I don't have any issues because they don't have any pain or they feel really good. And then they start giving you the list of the different medications that they're on. My doctor says that I'm really healthy. He only has me on blood pressure medication and thyroid medication.
Yeah, and it's on a very small dose. My doctor's very open-minded, very holistic doctor. Yeah, the tiniest amount possible, right? It's always love how you always try to justify the doctor that you're working with and how open-minded they are. Yeah, guys, here's the thing. Allopathic doctors, they're not open-minded. They're just a little less delusional than other doctors, but they're all delusional because everything they do is based off faulty pretenses around what health is and what it's not, because that goes right back to what you said. That's literally why most people end up going to a doctor is you feel good, you feel good, you feel good. You wait to feel bad, and then you go to a doctor. I always say, I know you'll like this example, Dr. Rob, that if you base your health on how you feel, that's like jumping off the Empire State Building. And every time you pass a floor, you're like, I feel good so far. I feel good so far. I feel good so far, until ultimately you find out about what physics and hard matter.
And you literally kiss your butt goodbye.
Exactly. So it's a big mistake. And then, of course, we already know, how do people feel in most cases by the time they even get a cancer diagnosis? A lot of times they feel great. In fact, my father felt fine, went to his doctor for his quote annual wellness visit checkup that he did every year, which is a joke. It's a recruiting tool to run tests to find problems to make you a patient or diagnose a disease. But he went to his doctor. Doctor said, you're healthy as a horse. 6 months later, he's got late stage, full blown cancer in the multiple organs. So was he healthy 6 months ago? And the doctor said he's healthy as a horse? Of course he wasn't. And then the diagnosis happens. You know, what's the first symptom of a heart attack?
It's the heart attack.
There you go.
And early death.
There you go.
Yeah. So I looked up some different definitions of health to be able to see which one to me, like, to us made the most sense. Here's the definition. And it's one of my favorite definitions actually of health. And it says that health is a state of complete physical, mental, and social well-being, not merely the absence of disease or infirmity. Nowhere in there does it say that health is a lack of symptoms, right? It's really about how your body is functioning. Here's another one. This is a French doc. His name is, I don't even know how you would pronounce that in French.
Please try.
George.
Thank you.
George.
Do you going to give me a last
Jean
name?
George. I can't say the last name.
Oh, please try. This will be fun.
It's Canguilhem. Something like that. Canguilhem.
Okay.
I don't even know. But he says,
Dr. George,
you're going to like this definition right here. It says, health is not a fixed state, but an individual's ability to adapt their environments.
I do love that, because really that's kind of what we always talk about, is the body's ability either adapting to your environment chemically, physically, emotionally, or you're not. So now you're breaking down faster than you're repairing.
Yeah, everybody's going to adapt based on their environment. Everybody's environment is different.
Yeah. And I mean, look at the word, and we taught this, and we still teach this, but we taught this for years as clinicians to our patients. If you even look at the word health, it literally spells, the first four letters spell H-E-A-L. So really the definition of health isn't how you're feeling, because you can feel good and literally be sick and dying of something, and you can feel bad and your body is actually expressing health. It's all about how your body's healing. How do you feel when you're throwing up? You don't feel good, but that's healthy because your body's getting rid of something. How do you feel when you have a fever? You don't feel good, yet that's your body's ability to actually heat up your cells, to detoxify you, to get rid of things that don't need to be in you. So we really got it backwards when you don't understand that real health is all about how you heal, and knowing what health is, and the foundation of that is really, those are great definitions, because those really fall in alignment, and they have nothing to do with how you feel and basing it off that, or waiting to feel bad before you do something.
100%. Here's another one.
Okay.
So here's another one. So Dr. Broda Barnes says that health is, I know you're going to love this one. Health is having a high metabolic rate. And then goes on to further define that as saying you have good digestion, daily bowel movements, healthy skin, shiny hair, strong nails, strong bones, strong teeth, strong libido and sex drive, free from hormonal imbalances, a healthy heart, clear mind, restful sleep, steady energy, a lean muscular body, lack of disease, and a feeling of contentment.
Wow, that's very well said. And what's sad is when you list all those things off, almost nobody checks those boxes. And we already know that based off the studies that almost 94% of America is metabolically unhealthy.
Right. Yeah. They have those different symptoms right there. That means that is a symptom of a much greater problem. So if you are that person and you are taking a medication, let's say for high blood pressure, then you're not healthy. Just the mere fact that you've got a blood pressure issue tells you that there is a problem with your metabolic rate. There's a problem with your metabolism. You're not going to be healthy. And even when you look at what metabolism really is on a cellular level, it's what your body is doing with the nutrients that come into your body. Your body should use nutrients like sugars or carbohydrates or proteins or fats and take them and convert them into ATP, which is your body's usable energy. So what is your body doing then with that food that's coming in? If it even is food that's coming into your body, that's a whole different discussion of
Yeah,
why
most
it is
people
that.
aren't getting
Yeah.
nutrient dense real food nutrition. They're getting empty processed food or just empty calories that are devoid of nutrients, right? So if you eat food that's devoid of nutrients, this is why people tend to overeat, because it doesn't create that satiety. So your body's going to stay hungry because it's like, I need nutrients, I need vitamins, I need minerals, I need the things that actually help my body take these raw nutrients and make new cells that help my body detox, that help my body begin to heal and adapt to this environment that I'm living in. That's all a part of the metabolic process. It's not just about being at a healthy weight or not. It's about, what is your body doing, especially what does it do with the food when you eat it? Does it burn it? Does it use it? Or does it just store it as body fat, which is another telltale sign that metabolically you're sick. You've got all these stored fat cells on your body that you can't even get access to, hundreds of thousands of calories of energy, yet your body's so metabolically sick, it can't even get access to it.
Yeah, so that right there, all in a nutshell, is metabolism is really the sum of every metabolic process in your body. And guess what? All of the trillions of cells, over 70 trillion cells inside your body, are running a metabolic system inside every single one of those cells.
That's just incredible,
It
by
is
the way, when you think about it.
absolutely incredible,
Yeah.
right? So
We're
really, it's
definitely
just
intentionally, divinely made. We're not junk, are we? Man, God made us in his image. That is so powerful. And that's really at the heart of what you're saying, Dr. Rob, is if you don't really understand that the greatest doctor is already within you, that your body has this innate intelligence, this ability to heal, and that health is the norm and disease is the abnorm, then you're really already in a position of fear and confusion, which really sets you up for failure, metabolically speaking, in long-term health.
you absolutely are, because we're talking about then how these systems are working together. So we are talking about your body's digestive system, your body's immune system, its detoxification system, your hormones, your libido, and all hormones is what it is that we're talking about, your body's energy production. So all that right there is your metabolism. So that's why we have such a passion and purpose and mission to really help people with this metabolic, this obesity epidemic that is happening right now around the world. And that's why, even like before we got on to the podcast, we were talking to one of our clients in our community, and she was talking about how she's getting ready to start another round of our metabolism program and why that's so important. And so we're like, yeah, congratulations. And the only thing that I could think is that your body is now going to be at a higher functioning level of health because your metabolism is going to be working better, having gone through that. And we know this personally. I completed just yesterday what we call the retrain portion of our metabolism program. I've got the numbers on my phone right now to be able to show you that throughout the course of this, and one of the things that we were talking about as far as definitions of metabolism right there is the amount of muscle mass, for example, that your body has, is that my muscle mass went up over the course of these 5 weeks. My body fat percentage went down over the course of those 5 weeks. My weight went down just because my body fat went up, but my muscle mass went up, which is super cool as well. And so what that's telling me is that my body is now healthier than what I was just 5 short weeks ago, which is why I choose to do our program at least once a year, every year, because of how important having a healthy metabolism is. Having a healthy metabolism, it says it right there. It's about your happiness, your contentment with life, because it affects, we're talking about your hormones. So if we're talking about your hormones, we're talking about
The metabolic hormones.
your metabolic
Yeah.
hormones, your sleep,
Yeah.
again, the libido, your sex drive, which for us as men means our drive to fulfill our purpose, right? And so my drive to fulfill this purpose to help more people is higher now than it was just 5 weeks ago, right? I have more energy now than I had just 5 weeks ago. But that's why I get excited when we talk about helping people metabolically, especially with our program, because it can so quickly be able to help people with that. And just like I can't stress that enough, in only 5 weeks, because you know what, as human beings, we know we can do anything for 5 weeks. It seems like it was just yesterday that I even started day one on that. But there's so many different processes that improve as a result of that program. However, let's get back to metabolism. Let's talk about some reasons why someone's metabolism would actually decline, because that's one of the things that we teach people is, like, you know, a lot of people think that you're either born with a good or a healthy metabolism, or you're born with a bad one. I know I used to think that because my mom struggled with her weight, so I thought I was just born with a bad metabolism because my mom had a bad metabolism, which actually isn't true. I look at photos of my mom from when she got married to my dad, her wedding photos, and my mom weighed like 96 pounds.
There you go.
And so she blamed me actually for
How many
her
women do
actually.
that after having children?
She's
It's
like, you're
I
the one
can-
that did this to me,
exactly.
right? So that's not true. And my mom now is as thin as ever. So you can get that metabolism working again. But what is it then that over time, obviously she didn't have a bad metabolism.
Yeah.
Something, it just broke over time. Mine broke, because of all the different things that I was doing leading up to me actually correcting and fixing it. But what are some of the things that mess up a metabolism?
Well, I think the four myths centered around metabolism, you said one of them is we think that it runs in our family. Of course, the running joke is nobody runs in your family. Ha, ha, ha. But the truth is,
That was actually true in my family.
yes, it's true for a lot of families, but we think that, it's because, it's the parents, it's the genetic lineage is why you struggle with your metabolism, or you think it's that you're getting older, so it's age related, or that it's exercise and diet dependent. So if most people are trying to lose weight or improve their metabolism, they actually think they have to go on a diet, they have to live in the gym, they actually have to get in a time machine and get younger, and then they have to magically pick new parents to change their genetic code, which obviously the last two aren't even possible. But if we go back to dieting and exercise, the eat less, move more movement, the calories in, the calories out, dieting really is the number one thing that will destroy your metabolism. And for a lot of reasons. And one of the reasons is, as we know, all diets really have one thing in common, and that's what?
They work, and then
They don't, because you're cutting calories, you're reducing calories. And when you reduce calories long term, which is what a diet is, and that's why you have to stay on it forever, is your metabolism will adapt to that stress. And under deprivation, when you're in a calorically deficient state, your metabolism doesn't increase. In fact, what it does, it adapts and it slows down, because if it stayed the same or it increased, it would burn through all the food very quickly, and then it would start burning through you, ultimately to your early demise. And so metabolism is devastating. It's devastating to the metabolism when somebody stays on a long-term diet. And that could be any diet: keto, paleo, high fat, low carb, fasting, intermittent fasting. When you're cutting calories and putting your body into a deficit, it has to adapt. Another reason that diets destroy the metabolism is most diets aren't real food, nutrient dense food based. You're literally using shortcuts, right? You're eating low calorie foods, you're counting points. Like with some programs, you're eating prepackaged shakes and bars and prepackaged food that's loaded with processed grain, processed sugar, artificial flavors, artificial sweeteners, seed oil. So even these low calorie foods that you're eating that a lot of people consider healthy are actually metabolically damaging to your body. So you're eating fake foods, you're cutting your calories, you're literally starving your body of key nutrients. All of those things together can cause serious metabolic damage. And if anybody out there listening, you're like, well, that's me, because think about it. Maybe you even did a diet before and it worked, and you lost that 10, 15, 20, 30 pounds, but then you tried to do that same diet again and it didn't work the same because you actually had to wreck your metabolism to even lose the weight. That's the irony, is most people have to get unhealthy to even lose the weight through dieting and caloric restriction long
I
term.
know, and that was me. I was that person literally starving myself, and then I became the workout warrior as
Mm.
well. And so that's
The eat less, move more,
yeah,
right?
so
Yep.
that's the other mistake, is not only is it then the dieting, but then that person who is the workout warrior,
Yep.
that person who is on the treadmill every single day and looks exactly the same as they did 6 years ago, right?
Mhm.
Or on the stair climber. And so what you do is you do the exact same thing, is you put your body under way too much stress
Yes.
by doing that. And then that raises your cortisol level. You raise your
Mhm.
cortisol level, your body goes into fight or flight, which could be okay temporarily if you're being
Right.
chased by a lion.
You don't want to
But
be chased by a lion 24/7 for weeks on end.
no, and that's
Yeah.
how stress has this,
Yeah.
even emotional stress can have the same effect on you. And
Mhm.
so that's when your body now starts going and looking for other sources of fuel, because it wants to hang on to the things that it can be able to get, really just, which is what it would want to use for energy. And it starts storing that, and it starts storing
Mhm.
things like the sugars, the carbohydrates, starts storing those things for fuel to use it later as you're being chased by that lion. And the problem now with that is now you're turning your body into being a fat storer
Yep.
instead of a fat burner. And so I know for myself, when I used to run marathons, for example, that's what I was doing to my body.
Oh, yeah.
Is I would go, run anywhere from 6 to 12 miles a day. And so not only that, but I was also then starving myself as well.
Wow.
And
The
my
double whammy.
mentality from that was like, okay, I've got to run XYZ amount of miles to burn XYZ amount of calories.
3,500 calories, by the way, to lose just 1 pound of
Right.
body fat.
So I was wrecking myself. Not only was I wrecking my metabolism, I was wrecking my body physically as well.
Yeah.
And so I was
You weren't
really
doing your
just,
muscles any favors either, by the way, as you're in this
no,
catabolic state of breaking down muscle tissue to
tear-
create glucose.
yeah, tearing up
Yeah.
my joints, my muscles,
Yeah.
my lower back. So what that does is that creates a really, and we talk about this. If you ever heard us talk about this metabolic thermostat, it creates this thermostatic effect
Mhm.
to the body. And just like a thermostat, thank God we have a thermostat in this building right here, because the temperature here in Dallas Fort Worth is dropping rapidly.
Oh, no.
Yeah, things are like literally we get under, and you guys are gonna laugh. We know
If you live in the Midwest, you're going to
Canadians,
laugh.
you're gonna
Yeah,
laugh.
yeah.
It's like today is supposed to get down to like 19 degrees. It's like they start,
Are you serious?
yeah, it's 19 degrees today, and
It was
so
like 48 degrees this morning.
yeah, that's exactly right.
Wow.
That's why they had
Okay.
to move my son's
Texas
soccer
winter.
game from tonight to yesterday, because they saw it was going to be that cold. And so yeah, so there
It'll be a ghost town here in Dallas Fort Worth at those temperatures.
yeah, goodness gracious. So the thermostat keeps it here,
Yeah.
at around 70 degrees, regardless of what the temperature is outside. But, Dr. Randy, what is this thermostatic effect that happens with people's metabolism? And
Yeah,
this is a
it's
good
good. Yeah.
gauge as to, where it is that your metabolism is at.
Well, it's just like you described, everybody understands how a thermostat would work. You set it at whatever temperature, and then whatever's going on the outside, it's really a zero-sum game, because the temperature is going to settle right in and where that is set. Well, just like a thermostat in your home, we have a metabolic thermostat in our body. This is very important. And I know you talk about this a lot, Dr. Rob, because you had a weight set point or a thermostat set where it didn't matter really what you did. You couldn't get really below it, or you had to like starve yourself and live on a treadmill to even get past
yeah.
it. And then, one banana later and you're back up 5 pounds, because when it's set at a certain level and when your body sees you at a certain weight, when your thermostat is in this place, you can diet, you can starve yourself, you can fast, you can exercise, you can lift weights, you can take fat burning supplements, you can take GLP-1 drugs, Ozempic, Wegovy's, whatever you're doing. When all the dust settles, it is a zero-sum game, and your body will go right back to that weight. So the beauty of understanding metabolism is you can actually readjust your body's own metabolic thermostat. And by doing that and readjusting it, now you're no longer addicted to diets and exercise and medications and pills to manipulate your weight. Your body now is burning those calories, using those calories for energy, and keeping you at a healthy weight. And it really seems effortless.
Yeah, so one of the ways that you can be able to do that is by eating nutrient dense food. However, if you already do have a, like myself, where my metabolic thermostat for years was set at about 180 pounds, is that, and so my body would, no matter what it is that I would do, it always would come to that. So I just thought that, hey, that's my quote healthy
Right.
weight and where I'm supposed to be.
And that's a
So
good point, because a lot of times, over the years, we've asked people, well, if you could weigh, what is your goal, right? What would you want to weigh? And people will give you a number. But the number really isn't a healthy number. It's the number that they've believed in their mind that they could possibly even get to based off years of dieting and where their metabolic thermostat has been set. Because we've seen that over and over. And then we have to go like, wait a second, no. Like, not what you think you can do. What would be a weight or a number you'd want to get to in a healthy environment where you could be your absolute best, and then the number changes. But I just thought that was interesting, because a lot of that goes back to believing what you're capable of and not understanding what metabolism is.
yeah, it just made me remember that I could, when I then ended up going up to, after my back injury, and I ended up going to 210 pounds,
Mm-hmm.
my goal then was to be able to get, if somebody would have said, hey, what's your goal? What do you want to get to? I would
Yeah.
have said 180.
Right.
And the reason I
Yeah.
said 180 is because that's what I remembered at being at, was that 180. So a lot of people will remember back to a time in their life when they weighed a certain weight,
Yeah.
not because it was the healthy weight for them, it's because that's what it is that they could actually remember.
Yeah.
They can't even fathom. For
Mm-hmm.
me, I could never even fathom weighing 155 pounds. I would have told you that that was absolutely impossible
Yeah.
to be able to do that, because I had never weighed 155 pounds like that
No.
ever since I was probably in the ninth grade. So I think that's just that mental game that we play with ourselves, and that's one of my favorite games that we play actually when we're traveling
Uh-huh.
and we meet somebody,
Yeah.
and they're like, oh yeah, I would love to do your program, and we ask them what their
Right,
weight
right,
is,
yeah.
and they go, oh, I just need to lose like 50 pounds. Then you're looking at them, I'm like, yeah, you probably need to lose more like 60.
I'm like,
But
you're how tall? 5'4". How much do you weigh? 230. And your goal is to lose 30 pounds. Well, that's great and that's awesome, but
that's not your healthy
that's
weight.
not your healthy weight. But going back to what we were talking about with the metabolic thermostat, you had one stuck at a certain weight. And what I was referring to earlier, that zero-sum game, without adjusting the thermostat, and if you just leave it where it is, all the dieting, all the fasting, all the exercise, all the supplements, anything you did, when all of the dust did settle, you were right back where you were, which is common for so many people.
It is. It is.
Yep.
So, okay. So that's also one of the reasons people ask, well, what's something like quick that I could be able to do now? Maybe that person has, they're not ready to do our 8-week metabolism program. And they want to say, hey, what's something that I can do right now? And we got that question over and over and over and over. So that's why there's a couple of products that we had actually created to be able to help people with exactly that.
Mm-hmm.
And one of those being a product that we have called Thermostat. And so tell us a little
How
bit about
apropos,
it. Yeah,
right?
how apropos.
Yeah.
And then another one being our ACV Plus product. But let's talk about those two things, because I know there are people who are listening right now and they're like, you know what, just give me something so that I can be able to get some quick wins. How can that thermostat help them?
Yeah, thermostat was really born out of understanding, metabolic health and how there's different pathways that impact our metabolic health. And so this product, and that's one thing I love about our products is when we get an idea of something that we want and it's not out there, then we make it. So that way we can have
We
it.
make it for us
Yeah,
first.
we do. It's like what's not out there. Well, that should exist. So then we make it, and then we use it for ourselves, and then other people obviously love it, trust it, and get the benefits as well. But yeah, the thermostat product was designed to work with our metabolism, but it's designed to work in a very unique way where it starts working with our body's enzyme pathways. And there's one major enzyme pathway called the AMPK pathway, and basically that enzyme pathway, it controls the cellular metabolism of all of our cells. So essentially, the cell's ability to burn fat for energy, but also the cell's ability to burn glucose or carbohydrates for energy because you need both. Everybody talks about having metabolic flexibility. Well, that doesn't mean you're metabolically flexible if you can't eat carbohydrates or have to live on a keto diet the rest of your life, right?
Yeah, totally.
So the thermostat product is designed to optimize that pathway. There's certain herbal extracts that we use. A lot of this is built out of even Chinese medicine, where you're taking these compounds that are natural that you would normally find and then using them in a synergistic way to create a certain outcome in the body. So that way you're not forcing anything, you're providing support, and you're using it in a way that's gentle to the body to help promote a condition or a situation in your body called autophagy. And a lot of people, maybe that's kind of a newer word, but a lot of people are familiar with how autophagy is one of the most heightened forms of healing in the body, and it happens when you fast. So your body gets really good at using old, dead, diseased tissue, maybe even cells that are no longer functional that need to be eliminated, or senescent cells, zombie cells that need to die. Your body's taking up old cells, kind of like cleaning out your refrigerator. If you unplugged your refrigerator and come back in 2 weeks, all the food's bad. Well, you get it all out of there and you put new food in there. That's really what autophagy is doing. It's getting rid of old disease tissue, and it's helping you rebuild new tissue, helping you detoxify, really putting your body into a place where it can begin to upregulate and heighten and heal. And that's a natural process in our bodies that happens when you fast. But it also happens not only when you're fasting, but can happen throughout the day and even when you sleep, when you've got a healthy metabolic rate. So our thermostat product was designed to support autophagy, the AMPK2 pathway, which is that enzyme pathway where your body gets really efficient at cleaning out old cells, rebuilding new cells, and using those to create energy that the mitochondria can use to create more ATP, more structured water in your body, and more carbon dioxide, giving you the energy and the fuel that you need. And it's so simple. It's a product that you can take without changing anything. Now listen, we're going to say eat real food nutrition, serve for your food, simply eat real food. But eating real food, adding a product like this can give you a benefit and a boost. And it's something that's done holistically and working with your body.
Yeah, absolutely. And right now, even because we're in February, so it is Valentine's Day month, and because it does, and we'll talk about the ACV, it does work synergistically with our ACV product to be able to help people really quickly. Is we do have a promo code. So if you do go to thehappyhealthylife.com and go to shop now and use the promo code together15, you'll get 15% off of these products for this month, just because we want to help people to be able to have a lower barrier of entry, to be able to start getting the help that they really want and need now, because of the effect that happens the longer that they wait or put the stuff off. So super important. So what about the ACV or apple cider vinegar?
Yeah, really quickly before I talk about that, I want to talk about one of the components in the thermostat. It's a synergistic blend of 7 different type herbs and extracts that work within our body. One of those, I'm not going to give you the scientific name. The easier name is it's called a southern ginseng. Everybody's heard of ginseng. This is a certain strain of ginseng found in Chinese medicine. And what it does, they use it to treat certain conditions like fatty liver or high triglycerides. We're not using it for that, but we're using an extract of this ginseng because what they're showing is that it upregulates the AMPK enzyme pathway, which shuts down fat production and accelerates abdominal fat metabolism. So if you're that person that's got that fat around the middle, seems like doesn't matter what you do, you just store body fat. This southern ginseng, that's one of the ingredients in our thermostat, has a benefit to optimizing that enzyme pathway that will help you burn more fat and make sure that you're not storing more fat. So pretty cool. Now, the beauty of what you just talked about is now when you start to...
I was just going to say the proof is in the pudding, because also on my phone and all those numbers is that my visceral fat went down 2 points, through not only utilizing our program, but also using the thermostat every day. So I know because I did it.
Yeah.
I got the numbers to show it. So anyway, I was just excited about that.
No, you should be. And why couldn't you? What would the medical community charge for a drug that helped the body optimize a natural enzyme pathway that targets fat around your organs and your abdominal area. I mean, they would charge, well, they already are. They're pumping full of GLP-1 drugs that are destroying actually their long-term metabolic profile.
They try to give me a mommy makeover.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, where they cut you from hip bone to hip bone, rip out the fat, which obviously it's going to come back and deposit in more weird areas. But so that's just one of the ingredients in thermostat. There's 7 different things that do work together. And you can go to our website and check that out. We don't make a lot of products, but the ones we do make, they are metabolically functional. But I like what you said earlier, because we did create an ACV product that is very synergistic with our thermostat product. The ACV, if you don't know what that stands for, that's apple cider vinegar. Nothing sexy about it. A lot of you may be even taking or cooking with apple cider vinegar. I've been using it. I think you probably have too, for God knows, I don't know how many years, because of the benefits. But one of the benefits of apple cider vinegar is a compound called acetic acid or acetate. And acetate is a short chain fatty acid. Interesting enough, shameless plug, SCT oil. But acetate specifically, what it does, it tells the brain to burn visceral fat for energy. So the fat that's packed around our organs. So you hear people who have like a fatty liver, or maybe somebody who's even got high blood pressure. If you can even imagine fat packing around your heart, making it harder to get blood to the body, raising your blood pressure, or elevated liver enzymes, congested liver, fat around your liver. The most popular diagnosis now, and it shouldn't be popular, but it is NAFLD. It's non-alcoholic fatty liver disease. This is a diseased organ, and these people aren't even drinking alcohol because all of the fat accumulation that's happening in their body because they're metabolically sick. So the acetic acid in our ACV product comes from apple cider vinegar, but here's what we did. We actually paired it with mangosteen pericarp rind. Just a fancy word for saying the world's richest source of acetic acid. And so by taking that pericarp rind from the mangosteen, pairing it with the ACV, you're getting a very bioavailable form of acetic acid that now can start to help support burning fat around your waist, off the organs. Now, even paired with the thermostat, you're getting 2 products that work with your body, that are natural in nature, that support anybody's health program where you're making dietary changes, you're moving your body, and you're supporting yourself with a supplement. You can't swallow health. Don't get us wrong here, but a lot of you are already taking supplements, you're spending money, and to be honest with you, you're buying a lot of garbage products. They're not quality, and you're wasting your money. You want to use functional metabolic products. Couldn't be more happy about the ACV and the thermostat product as part of our product suite.
Yeah, and then when you do that in combination with now eating real, nutrient-dense food, simply eat real food, it's like, just those 2 things right there in combination can really start to turn things around and helping your body to be able to function better. And now you get hormones functioning better. So it's like that person that was told that, hey, you know what, you're going to have to be on thyroid medication for the rest of your life, right? Not having to worry about that. The person who is postmenopausal, for example, who, their hormones, they've told that person that they're going to have to be on like an antidepressant in order to be able to control their moods their entire life. These are the people who are no longer taking those things anymore. That person, like I was talking about earlier, who's like, you know what? My libido is gone. I just don't have that drive. I don't have that sex drive anymore. Like I said, even for the men that are listening right now, you just don't have that that drive in order just to be able to really be living out your purpose on a daily basis. So really having a healthier metabolism also helps people to not be depressed anymore. Because I know that I personally was going through a lot of that, even like we talked about earlier, when we were not the happy, healthy guys, when we opened the show, literally sitting in Spain, being the sick, cancer, overweight, obese, depressed guys is what it is that we were back then. So this right here we're talking about has literally changed our life, and we have the blueprint to be able to help you to overcome these things. And so especially now, at 53 years old and getting older, I'm like, you know what? I got to make sure that I'm doing everything possible to have a healthier metabolism so that I can be able to be around a lot longer. So really, when we look at it, we want to make sure that you're eating in a way that's promoting healthy metabolic flexibility so that your body is fat adapted. So your body is using the nutrients that are coming into your body in order to be able to get the best bang for its buck at a cellular level.
Yeah, stop counting calories,
Yeah.
right? Count nutrients.
Yeah,
You know, when
absolutely.
you eat, what are you eating? Why are you eating? You should be thinking about, how do I get the most amount of nutrient dense, bioavailable nutrition every time you stick anything in your mouth. And the beauty of when you do that, Dr. Rob, is you never have to be on a diet again. You don't have to count points. You don't have to count calories or macros. You eat real food nutrition. You eat it until you're full. And then when you're hungry again, you eat it again. So it doesn't have to be complicated. I think innately, and this is one of the tricks the medical community plays on us in big pharma, they want everybody to think it has to be really complicated. Like there's only a handful of people that get to understand this and teach it to us, and we have to follow their recommendations. It just isn't true. It doesn't have to be that hard. Heck, just go back 3 generations ago and look at your ancestors who didn't have heart disease, that weren't obese, that ate real food nutrition, probably from their own farm, from their own garden, slaughtered their own animals, or went to the local farmers market there in the community where people fed each other. It doesn't have to be hard. And if you're making it really hard and complicated, you're probably too far deep down the rabbit hole of medical intervention. You got to get out of that, take back responsibility of your own health, because there is no drug out there that's coming to save you. And drugs definitely can't improve your metabolism. They can only maybe mitigate things in short-term intervention, but drugs by nature cause metabolic disease. You cannot poison yourself into health. Giving drugs to a healthy person would make them sick. How is giving drugs to a sick person going to make them healthy? Be responsible for your own health.
Yeah, so in the interest of time, because we are running long today, because obviously
We are running long,
we,
yeah.
we could talk about this forever. I think we continue the conversation next week,
do it.
and even next week, even talking more about how to be able to maximize your rest, the healing that you're getting while you're resting, also detoxing the body, because that absolutely disrupts the body's metabolism. We'll talk about those things next week. And so I say, final takeaways for today is understand that, metabolism is the foundation of health. We talked about the metabolic thermostat, how to be able to make sure that that's regulated. Go to thehappyhealthylife.com if you're interested in that thermostat or the ACV product. Use the code TOGETHER15 to be able to get that. And you know
What is that code again?
It's TOGETHER15.
I love that. Together 15. Yeah, nobody
fif-
wins alone. I love that.
Yeah,
Perfect.
yeah. So remember, fat loss, energy, libido, they're all connected. Everything is connected. Utilize the Happy Healthy Blueprint, because we know that it absolutely works. Thank you for following us. Thank you for sharing the show. Thank you for your comments. Continue to keep on asking us questions. And we've got exciting things coming your way for 2025.
Yeah, excited about that. Love you guys. Thank you so much. We'll be back soon. God bless.
Thanks for listening to the Happy Healthy Life podcast. If you enjoy the show, make sure to follow them on Instagram at the H2 Life, or on YouTube and Facebook at The Happy Healthy Guys. Don't forget to like, subscribe, follow, and review the show wherever you listen to podcasts.